What was the driving vision behind this course?
When Masters Union started, the vision was to transform the undergrad education system in India.
Can you elaborate on the unique aspects of this program? How is it different from the traditional courses?
We have integrated professional certification, CA and CFA, within the finance curriculum.
Is the program truly rigorous?
It meets the rigorous expectation out of a finance student.
For decades, the path for a student interested in finance and economics has been about theory, the traditional textbook approach. But in this world of real time data, fintech innovation, and entrepreneurial finance, this old model doesn't cut it anymore. We are pulling back the curtain on a program specifically designed to close that gap, the Masters Union undergrad program in finance and economics. To walk us through its unique DNA, the opportunities it unlocks, and who should be applying, we have Juhi Dugar to walk us through. Hey Juhi, welcome to the show. We have a lot of ground to cover, so why don't we start with the most fundamental question? What is the driving vision behind this course?
You know, Abhinav, when Masters Union started, the vision was to transform the undergrad education system in India. And that's the same vision that we carry for the finance and economics program that we are launching. For a very, very long time in India, the undergrad in, the traditional undergrads in BCom, BA in economics has always been seen as a stepping stone for any other post graduation study like an MBA or any other post grad, right? We wanted to change that. When our students are investing 4 years of their lives in their undergraduation education, why not make it meaningful? So we turned around and asked, what do students who are wishing to pursue finance and economics actually, what do they actually want? What does the finance industry actually want? Some want to go into top investment banks, some want to get into maybe auditing, taxation, or pursue professional certifications like CA and CFA. And we have just designed a program that caters to all of these ambitions together in one holistic program. So we have integrated CA and CFA in our finance curriculum. So now students don't have to hassle between the studies of a professional certification and their undergrad college. They can do it all together. It's not siloed anymore. The vision was always outcomes driven education, right? In the last 10, 20 years, the finance industry has changed a lot. What was relevant maybe 10 years ago is no more relevant today. We are in the world of AI, fintech, global markets operating 24/7, blockchain, algorithmic trading. Our students who spent 4 years in undergrad education need to learn all of those skills to be able to deploy them when they walk out of their college. So this was the entire vision of creating a program in finance and economics.
So that's interesting, Juhi. The Masters Union programs are known to be practitioner led. So, can you elaborate on the unique aspects of this program, as well as how is it different from the traditional courses such as BA, BCom, etc., that we have in other institutions?
So, Abhinav, whenever you hear Masters Union, you automatically, sort of relate it to practitioner-led teaching, experiential teaching, learning by doing, right? So, all of these are already there. Talking about the USPs of the course, we have integrated professional certification, CA and CFA, within the finance curriculum. So no more early, if you are pursuing a traditional undergrad, you would have to hassle between completing your college studies and going for the professional certification studies, right? It's very hectic for the students, and this is what we have tried to bridge. We have developed a curriculum that gives a great head start to the students who wish to pursue either CA or CFA. That's one of the major USPs that we have. Second is, of course, learning by doing. We have this philosophy across all our courses, and finance and economics UG is not going to be left behind. So every term culminates into an outclass project, which, of course, we will talk in detail when we move to the other sections of the podcast. But every term culminates into a very, interesting real life application project where students learn the skills that are required by the finance industry, right? Second is an interdisciplinary approach that we have sort of, applied while designing the entire curriculum. At the base, of course, the core is finance and economics, but we understood that the finance industry needs a lot more skills beyond the technical and hard skills, right? You are dealing with clients day in and day out when you're working in the top investment banks, when you're working in the big fours, when you're working at the top VCs or private equities, which means your soft skills or the aspects of communication is super important, and that is what we have tried to integrate inside the curriculum. We are living in the world of AI, Abhinav. We can't have a UG course which does not teach students the relevant AI tools for the industry that they wish to either start their own business into or maybe work into, right? So we have integrated AI tools which is required for the financial industry inside the curriculum. We have sort of problem solving and structuring. How people communicate and articulate their thoughts also becomes a very, very important differentiating factor from student A to student B, and that's again something that we have tried to integrate within the curriculum. So all in all, if you look at it, what we are trying to do when if you pursue a traditional BCom or a traditional economics honors course, at the end of the third year or by the end of the fourth year, you're left with one degree and you're left with maybe some theoretical knowledge. While if you pursue the finance and economics course at Masters Union, you have a degree by the end of the 4 years. You have a great head start to pursue CA and CFA. It's like a one-stop shop for your CA or CFA dreams that you have. You have a professional pool of industry mentors who you can speak to daily. You have a portfolio of different projects that you have worked across during your 4 years at MU, right? So we give you this entire ecosystem is our differentiator.
Got it. No, I think this is very important. I think this is super important because two things that really resonate with me. One is it really crunches the time that it takes for a person to start and finish these very competitive qualifications, right? And the second thing is, as you mentioned, the ecosystem that we provide. I think one of the biggest enablers for anyone's success is how his or her peers are doing, how is the ecosystem around him, what is the support systems that are there. So I think I really feel that these two things really stand out in for Masters Union.
Essentially what we have tried to do is any finance aspirant who wants to build a career in finance, what he or she would be doing over a course of 6 to 7 years maybe, we have tried to compress all of that by creating an intensive 4-year curriculum. So we have the certification built in, we have all the soft skills built in, we have all the hard tools that you require built inside the curriculum, apart from, of course, the network of mentors and peers that we provide you.
Described is a major shift from the traditional academic focus programs to now industry led experiential programs. But one question which many of the parents and students have is the program truly rigorous? Right. So, why don't we get into the nuts and bolts of the program and walk everyone through the year by year curriculum and what people would learn and what they would achieve by the end of this course?
That's a great question, Abhinav. I think this is the portion that's close to my heart. We have put in a lot of effort into designing the curriculum so that it's industry relevant. It meets the rigorous expectation out of a finance student, as well as gives them enough scope to experiment over the next 4 years, right? So I would want to, sort of go about the curriculum year by year, as you mentioned. So, in the first semester that the student spends with us, they have courses like microeconomics, where they understand demand, supply, inelasticity, and all of those concepts. We have macroeconomics as a course where students understand how an economy works actually. We have basics of and fundamentals of accounting baked into the first semester. We have statistics, which is like a stepping stone for anything that you want to do in finance in the later years. We have courses like art of communication baked in to sort of nudge that soft skill that's required by the finance industry, right? So all of these together like gives you a solid foundation in the first semester. And post the first semester, the CA and the CFA curriculum sort of gets branched out. where the CA folks who are interested into pursuing CA focus more on taxation, indirect taxes, personal taxes. They focus on audit. They focus on corporate and other laws. While the students who wish to pursue CFA delve deeper into fixed income, bonds, corporate finance, and both of these together also learn all the AI tools that are relevant. Of course, when I mention AI tools, this will keep on changing as we go on year by year. Every 2 to 3 months, all the tools that were relevant probably 3 months ago are not anymore relevant, right? So the tools that we teach will probably change, but it's there in the curriculum in the first year itself, and that's the major differentiator. One more interesting course that we have in the first year itself, Abhinav, is the introduction to stock markets, where we teach students the fundamental and technical aspects of, finding out a good stock, which was taught to me when I was doing my MBA much later, right? And also some aspects which we're trying to, sort of impart in the first year itself. And how all of these together culminate into an outclass project is something very beautiful. So once you have learned all of these, in as the first year outclass project, you do the equity research challenge, where students are given a public sector company and they have to sort of build an entire thesis and come up with a recommendation of buy, hold, or sell, and present like an equity analyst himself or herself, right? So, which is like a huge thing. You learn XYZ inside the classroom and you apply it right after the term ends. And in year two, once you have built your foundations and fundamentals strong in finance, we want the student to master, different skills required. For the CA aspirants, it's about mastering compliance, mastering taxation, mastering ethics and audit, right? So we have courses like auditing, ethics, advanced accounting, cost management, financial and strategic management, and a very important tool for the CA aspirants, which is Tally, baked inside the curriculum, right? For the CFA aspirants, on the other hand, we want them to master more on portfolio management, master the art of, investing, valuation. So we have courses built in around equity valuation, portfolio management, derivatives, fixed income, bonds, advanced strategies in fixed income and bonds. They go through how investment banks, private equities, venture capitals, these, businesses actually work. They learn about sustainable and ESG investing, which are, the sort of hot topics in the finance industry today. And all of these in-class curriculum culminates into a wonderful outclass project or an outclass application called Beat the Sensex, where the students are given a 50 lakhs virtual portfolio to manage. And the idea is for them to generate a portfolio return of higher than the benchmark, right? So this is an interesting project. I would have loved it if it would have been given to me while I was doing my MBA. But I'm glad that, in the undergrad space, we are trying to build these skills, which are actually very much needed in the, real world. And for the CA aspirants, we have the tax playbook as an outclass outline for them, where they act as tax advisors to ultra high net worth individuals, devise, and for small firms, of course, and devise their tax planning and structure and file their taxes, because those are the sort of roles that you would go into once you complete your CA. And that's what we have tried to bake into our curriculum outclass. Moving on to year three, Abhinav, this is the time when students actually, develop or master what they have learned in the first 2 years. For the CA aspirants, this is also the time when they start with their articleship. And along with their articleship, we have devised the curriculum in a way that is not too hectic for them, but at the same time maintains the rigor that a CA qualification actually requires. So they do courses on advanced assurance, ethics, auditing, financial reporting and analysis, advanced versions, right? For the CFA aspirants in this third year, they would go on to do courses on alternative investments, get into the options, futures of things, where they learn different strategies that can be built using these instruments. They go on to do equity valuation, advanced versions of financial modeling. While Excel and PPT is something all of us know, it's the bread and butter of anybody who aspires to be a finance professional. And we sort of bake this into the first years and first semesters of their entire course. In the third year is when they actually, sort of start applying those concepts when they're building the financial models. And this year also culminates into a very challenging, yet very insightful outclass, the Unicorn Hunt, which is where we ask students to act as venture capitalists and identify the latest trends in the industry and identify investable startups. So they are doing the entire process from the lens of a VC, and sort of putting the hats on as a VC and thinking like a VC and executing like a VC, while keeping in mind that they have a limited pool of capital that they need to invest very wisely. The last and the final year, where the CA aspirants are still undergoing their articleship while doing courses on indirect taxation and direct taxation and integrated business solutions as part of their curriculum. The CFA aspirants do courses on advanced portfolio management strategies, portfolio performance attribution, asset allocation, and in the final term, they have a choice to take up one of the electives, one of the pathways that CFA offers between private wealth, private management, and portfolio management. While I have tried to outline a lot of outclass projects, this is still not the exhaustive list. We have a lot more, and each term is also has a lot of hands-on project which the students will go through while they are going through, like, right? So we are trying to move away from the traditional undergrad finance degrees in all aspects, Abhinav. It's not just related to the curriculum, it's also about the evaluation components, right? It's not going to be entirely pen and paper examinations. For a term, you might have an evaluation based on how well you manage a portfolio, right? So we are trying to integrate elements of practical application, not only in what you're learning inside the classroom, but what you're tested on also, right? So this is how we have tried to design the curriculum, keeping in mind CA, CFA integration, keeping in mind what the finance industry needs today and what the students should learn by the end of the 4 years once they have spent those in at MU.
No, thanks, Juhi. This really paints a really clear picture of what this course is all about. I think a couple of things from my end. One is this course is really rigorous from what you have described right now. The
It
other
is.
thing is around the flexibility and flexibility both in terms of the options or the courses that a student would undergo. Also in terms of the curriculum, as we all are aware that AI is becoming more and more important in all fields, and we are being very honest that the tools that are being used today might not be relevant in the next couple of years. So since we are working directly with the industry practitioners, we are sure that we would be at the forefront of the technological evolution, whatever is being utilized in industry. Think of any bank, right? Like a Goldman Sachs or a JP Morgan or any other bulge bracket bank. I think our students will also be learning the same tools, uh, because of which I think they would be ready to make an impact from day one.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of having industry practitioners teaching you, right? So you're not learning economics outside a book, you're learning economics maybe from the chief economist. You're learning portfolio management from a hedge fund manager. And that is what truly differentiates the program at Masters Union.
So, what are the specific high growth career paths in finance, economics, and beyond where our students might be headed to after they complete the course?
So, Abhinav, since we have made the program so rigorous, we have integrated professional certifications inside the curriculum. The 4 year undergrad, post the 4 year undergrad with us, all the options in the finance world, all the career options in the finance world opens up for a student. Those who are pursuing CA can get into taxation, auditing, risk management, compliance, finance controller's job very easily. Those who wish to pursue CFA and are CFA aspirants and choose that path, all the investment banking roles, the venture capitalist roles, roles in equity research, roles in portfolio management, risk management, credit management, all of these open up for our students. There's a plethora of options inside the finance industry, and we are leaving no stone unturned. So our student can go anywhere as they wish to. So, all in all, essentially, you can go to any of the big fours You can go to the bulge bracket banks like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan. You can get into the top notch VCs of the country, right? You can get into private equity funds. So, all of these options are open for the student.
So, who is the ideal student for this program? So, and what kind of personal interest, education background, or aspirations one must have to truly thrive in this unique learning environment?
That's a great question, Abhinav. Any student who's a finance enthusiast wants to accelerate their path to impact, wants to build a strong career in the finance industry, wants to use these 4 years as the bridging gap between what the finance industry needs in terms of skills and what the student can offer should definitely apply. This is going to be a very rigorous yet very, very impactful course in the world of finance.
To wrap up, if you could distill the core promise of this program into a single line for our aspirations, what would that be?
Abhinav, it's very, very difficult to summarize all of this in one line. But let me give it a shot. Um, our core promise is our curriculum will always be at the forefront of what the industry demands. It focuses a lot on practical application by way of hands-on project and outclass activities. So, having worked at banks like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, I completely understand there's a huge gap between what students are taught inside the classrooms versus what these banks demand in the industry, right? So that's our core promise. We are trying to bridge that gap and we will bridge that gap. And third is practitioner led teaching, which again becomes super important in the world of AI and fintech and globalization that we are living in to adapt our curriculum with respect to the needs of the industry.
Thank you, Juhi. This has been super, super insightful for us.
It
Thank
was
you.
lovely speaking to you, Abhinav.
Thank you.